Like when you watch TV and bad things come on TV and you always imagine it being in a far off place. Well, one day I was watching the television and there was a story of a girl called Susan. She was 15 years old, and what happened was that the story was that this girl had been kidnapped at 15 years old. She'd been taken into a house, without going into detail, she'd been tortured for a week in this house, and eventually she'd been taken out of the house. This is where we live, there'll be an arrow pointing to it there. She'd been taken out of this house, and then what happened is she'd been dumped in the south of the city. Paraffin and fuel had been put on her, her teeth had been broken and taken out, and she'd been burnt alive. And before she died, she managed to crawl to the road. The ambulance picked her up, and the police found out who had done these terrible things to her. And we're watching the TV thinking this story is horrendous, and then suddenly it showed a picture of the killers, and we knew who they were. And my wife was really scared because they showed us a picture. There was a big wooden spoon that she'd been tied to for the whole week. And they said, Lynn looked at this, my wife, and she said, Paul, I used to go to their house to cut hair, and it was a very small house, so we used to take that wooden spoon off the wall to get around the back so I could cut their hair. What freaked me out though, apart from the fact that our next door neighbour, the lovely old guy, was the grandfather of the killers, was that the house where she was being tortured, I walked past that house every day 4 times that week. I was going to my office, my church office, and back. There, back for lunch, there again, back home in the evening. You know, even tonight as you came here, you've got no idea what's going on in the homes that you drove past. You've no idea. And here's my thought, is that sometimes God leads us into our second choice world because he wants us to change it. The problem is that sometimes we're in a second choice world and we think our aim is to make sure it doesn't change us. But that is not why God filled us with his Spirit. Because he who is in you is greater than he who is in your second choice world.